turn it on yet, have you? Wait.
Thank you. I wanted to respond. I call this meeting of the Executive Committee to order. It's my duty to remind you of your duty under the State Government Ethics Act to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of conflict. Please refrain from participating in any matter where there is a conflict of interest or an appearance. Please note any conflicts at the appropriate time. First item is going to be the approval of the minutes. The proposed minutes of the council meeting on October the 30th, 2025 and October the 31st, 2025 are posted on SharePoint. I'm sure everyone has read them. May I have a motion to recommend approval of the minutes to the council unless anyone caught any errors or corrections at the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So there was no discussion. Any opposed? Motion carries. The proposed minutes of the Executive Committee meeting on October 30th were also posted to SharePoint. Any questions, corrections? If not, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All who oppose? Motion carries. We will now hear the report of the Finance and Audit Committee. So I call on President-elect Kevin Williams to give this report, please.
The 2025 fourth quarter financial statements are posted on SharePoint. Finance and Audit Committee met yesterday and recommends that they be approved. Well, go ahead. Let's look at it.
The motion to recommend approval to the council coming from a committee does not require a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All who oppose? Motion carries.
The proposed 2026 State Bar operational budget is posted on SharePoint. The committee recommends approval to the council, subject to the approval of the executive directors and council salary, which we will discuss in closed session.
So we will need to go in closed session to consider the salaries of executive director and council, as Kevin just mentioned, which we will do at the end when we're closed to consider DSA nominations. So we're going to defer this vote on the budget until the end.
Moving on to the proposed budgets for specific boards. The proposed budgets for the Board of Legal Specialization, the Board of Continuing Legal Education, Client Security Fund Board, IOLTA Board of Trustees, and Board of Paralegal Certification are posted on SharePoint. The Finance Committee met yesterday and recommends approval to the council.
Absent any objection, we're going to take all the budgets together as a group. The motion to recommend approval to the council coming from a committee does not need a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All who oppose? Motion carries. We will now move to appointments. Kevin, you're still on the hot seat.
We have 3 appointments for the LAP Board, each for a 3-year term. Takia Lewis Blaylock, Paul Derrick, and Bill Ingraham are eligible for reappointment. The LAP Board recommends the reappointment of Takia Lewis Blaylock as a council member, Bill Ingram as a clinician member, and Paul Derrick as a LAP volunteer.
I'll recuse. I'll just add that there's no Y in the Blaylock.
Thank you.
Why?
But why not? That's right.
I had to go there.
Noting your recusal, without objection, we'll consider all 3 appointments as a group. These are the recommendations from the Appointments Advisory Committee, and no second is required. So is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
The LAP Board Chair and Vice Chair are appointed annually. The current chair, Takia Lewis Blaylock, is without the Y, is eligible for reappointment. The board recommends the reappointment of Takia Lewis Blaylock as chair and the appointment of LAP volunteer Shelley Buckner as vice chair. And we'll
Continue the recusal.
We'll have the judge's review.
These are recommendations from the Appointment Advisory Committee and require a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any who oppose? Motion carries.
We have 2 appointments for the North Carolina State Bar Foundation Board for 4-year terms. Board members must be past presidents of the State Bar Council. Mark Merritt and John Silverstein are eligible for reappointment. The committee recommends that they be reappointed.
These recommendations coming from the Appointments Advisory Committee requiring a second. So is there any discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor? Any who oppose? Motion carries.
Moving on to the Disciplinary Hearing Commission, there is one appointment to the DHC to be made to complete the unexpired term of William A. Oden through June of 2027. Mr. Oden resigned from the DHC upon his election to the State Bar Council. The Appointments Advisory Committee tabled this matter until the April quarterly meeting. This completes the recommendations of the Appointments Advisory Committee for today.
So we'll move on now to rule amendments. We will now consider the proposed rule amendments. These rule amendments were published for comment after the October 25 annual meeting, and no adverse comments were received. Absent any objections, we will consider the three proposed rule amendments for adoption as a group. Proposed amendments to the Rules of Professional Conduct 27 NCAC 02. Rule. Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we did receive some comments at the last minute regarding that very first one. So if I can provide an overview and want to take that separately or decide to take it all together.
Well, let's take it. You go ahead.
Okay.
Discuss
So
that.
just to let you all know, the comments are in the ethics agenda materials, but the comments basically disagree with the rule to some extent, noting more particularly that this rule amendment, which deals with the imputation of conflicts and allows public defender offices to screen former client conflicts in certain scenarios, basically said that instead of dealing with our rules, we should focus on increasing the pay available for court-appointed attorneys, which we understand is something that I think is universally seen, but was not really within our lane. The Ethics Committee did discuss these comments today, and Gina, I don't know if you want to relay the recommendation of the Ethics Committee. I'll be happy to do it, but the Ethics Committee did discuss these today and did not feel that the comments warranted further study or change to the proposed rule amendment. The Ethics Committee did vote to recommend this be adopted by the council.
Any questions about the comments, adverse comments that were received about this rule? If not, we'll just take this one and then go through the rest of them. So as far as this proposed amendment to the Rule of Professional Conduct 27 NCAC 02 Rule 1.10, imputation of conflicts of interest, do I have a motion to recommend the adoption of that rule to the council?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Go back to the rest of them. Were there any changes on comment? Just the first one? Okay.
Correct.
Proposed amendments to the rules governing discipline and disability 27 NCAC 01B, Rule .0133 on confidentiality. Proposed amendments to the rules governing Board of Law Examiners and the training of law students 27 NCAC 01C, Rule .0105, approval of law schools. Proposed amendments to the rules governing reinstatement 27 NCAC 01D, Rule .0902, reinstatement from inactive status. And proposed amendments to the rules governing suspension 27 NCAC 01D, Rule .0904, reinstatement from suspension. Do I have a motion to recommend adoption of these rules to the council?
So moved. Second.
Excellent. Any discussion? All in favor of the adoption of those four rules, say aye.
Aye.
All who oppose? Carries. We have now proposed rule amendments for publication. It's in blue. It wasn't in blue, I didn't know I was supposed to read it. We'll keep it very simple. Proposed amendments to the rules governing standing committees of the council 27 NCAC 01A, Rule .0701, standing committees and boards. The proposed amendments combine the existing issues and access to justice committees, along with their respective similar missions, into a single standing committee of the State Bar Council. The second is proposed amendments to the rules governing discipline and disability, Rule 27 NCAC 1B, Rule .0120, reciprocal discipline and disability proceedings. The proposed amendments clarify and streamline the reciprocal discipline process and incorporate reciprocity with officially recognized tribal courts. Absent an objection, I'll consider both items together. Not hearing an objection. May I have a motion for publication? A second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any who oppose? Motion to publish those carries. We will now start the report section. So first, the chair recognizes the council, Carmen Bannon, for the litigation report.
Thank you. The litigation report for the last quarter is in your materials, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Excellent job, Carmen. The chair calls on Peter Bolek, the legislative liaison, for the legislative report.
Try to follow my lead here.
Yeah, I'll be quick. The quick news is there hasn't been a lot of substantive changes since our October meeting. The two items to point out are the legislative freeze on the ability for the IOLTA program to make grants. We're still trying to find a compromise, some solution there to have that freeze lifted. It seems likely there won't be any action or resolution on that until the legislature returns to session in April. That freeze ends at the end of June. If there's no other action taken, that freeze was temporary, and it does lift on its own at the end of June. So anticipate some action between April and June on that matter. The second issue is the State Bar Grievance Review Committee. The State Bar Review Committee that is currently meeting. The next meeting for that committee is March 24th. Kevin is a member of that committee. We don't know exactly yet what the agenda is for that review committee. The committee first met, had their first meeting in November, and we have not met since then, so we're anticipating some more discussion on the discipline process, but don't know exactly where that's headed just yet. We'll see after the primaries how everything shakes out over at the legislature, and they can come back in March or April.
Thank you. So now we'll go to past President Matt Smith for a report of his issues.
I was provided a list of Catherine's issues. We're slowly working through that. But seriously, something I did not get to do last year was to revisit our trust account rules and provide a slimmer and trimmer and more modern set of trust accounting rules, and a ad hoc committee will be created for that. So somebody will be getting in touch with some of y'all to help out on that, and it is my goal and my ambition to have something published by October on those rules. Maybe overly ambitious, but we're going to do the work. But it's time to look at them. And Catherine has a bunch of other issues that we will deal with in time.
Now we'll call the report for the Authorized Practice Committee, and an action item, I call on Judge Shakia Lewis-Layla.
Thank you. All right, so the Authorized Practice Committee, we work every time we meet. We met yesterday at 2:30 and reviewed 10 complaints regarding the unauthorized practice of law. The committee voted to issue 3 letters of caution, take no action in 1 matter, and to dismiss 3 matters. We also voted to authorize counsel to seek an injunction in 1 matter, 25 AP 0114 against Michael S. Pittman. The committee voted to continue 2 matters to the July 26th committee meeting. In litigation, in closed session, the council updated us regarding the status of the injunction proceedings filed against Tiger Sidney, Acute McDaniel, and Eric Olson. The prepaid legal services plan update is that the State Bar received no proposed amendments to existing prepaid legal services plans, no initial registration statements, and received 115 renewal statements for 2026. Also, the Authorized Practice Committee is working on studying a proposed advisory opinion about late advocacy and special education proceedings before the Office of Administrative Hearings, and council gave an update regarding that subcommittee. We also discussed adopting a policy on declining to open files based on complaints submitted by anonymous complainants. And at this time, I'd like to request a vote to adopt the recommendation of the committee with respect to Mr. Peakman to seek injunctive relief against him.
You were right, you have
Good
it.
work.
So, to your one item of request, do I have a motion to authorize the Office of Counsel to seek injunctive relief against Michael S. Pittman?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now for the report of the Communications Committee. The chair calls on the committee chair. David, take it away.
Communications Committee, as you know, is now a single committee rather than two separate committees. It used to be the Communications Committee and the Publications Editorial Board. We're all now one, and we're happy to be together. We welcome several new members to the committee, including some who are here today, and happy to report that we had enthusiastic participation by new members. Some looking forward to a big year. The committee approved several articles submitted to the journal for the next edition, published for the next publication of the journal. We also received status updates on several other submissions that are in progress. Vice Chair Tom Honey and I have agreed to meet in the next month or so to discuss, or really to collate, a number of issues we've been working with, including the committee's current brainstorm list, list of ideas that we received from Fry, and a collection of things we received from Eric Nicholson over the last weeks and months. And we want to collate that into something that will be more useful and digestible to the community so we can consider that in our next meeting. The committee received an update on the redevelopment of the State Water's website, which we're told is due to be completed by April, perhaps. So maybe by the next council meeting, we'll have a new website to talk about, or at least look forward to. And finally, I think that's it.
Excellent, excellent. Next, we will move to Gina Morris, who is sitting in for Davis, who is stuck in a 4-week horrible trial. On the report from the Ethics Committee.
Thank you, ma'am. We considered 7 items today. We are publishing 3 opinions. Number 1 is a revised version of 2025 FEO 3, client consent to annual rate increase in fee agreements. Proposed 2026 FEO 1, which is about real estate client referrals to law partners business. And proposed 2026 FEO 2, a non-disparagement clause in a fee agreement or as a condition of a fee dispute resolution. And the only action item was the rule amendment we've already made. That's it.
Thank you, thank you. Next, we will go to Judge Lane for the report of the Distinguished Service Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam President. I move that we go into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143.31811A2.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We are now back in open session, and originally, to keep us sort of on task, we had talked about the budget. We discussed that early in the meeting, and then we went into closed session to talk about the 2026 salary for the executive director and council. That was discussed, and now that amount has been clarified for the budget. So do I have a motion to approve the 2026 operational budget with those salaries?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any who oppose? Motion carries. I now recognize Judge Lang for a motion from the Distinguished Service Committee.
Motion to approve candidates A and B for recognition with the John B. McMillan Distinguished Service.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the candidates who are identified in closed session, candidate A and candidate B. Coming from a committee, the motion does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries for both candidates. Is there any other business to discuss? Great, there's none.
encourage anyone who's interested to go to the Bar Association's Law Student Reception tonight. You know, I know it's hard after a long day, but if you have had the free time and would like to do it, it's nice to see the young lawyers from, the soon-to-be lawyers from the law schools and talk to them. Certainly not required in any way, but brave the traffic and head on.